Let's talk about independence. Not the kind you declare to others, but the kind you feel deep within yourself. Independence is not just about being self-sufficient in your finances, decisions, or lifestyle. It's about owning your mind, your emotions, and your energy. A truly independent man doesn't need the approval of a crowd or the constant reassurance of a group to validate his identity. He knows who he is, what he stands for, and what he's working toward. Think about this. When you depend on others to shape your sense of self-worth, you hand over the reins of your life. You allow someone else's opinions, moods, or actions to dictate how you feel and how you behave. That's not freedom, that's being a puppet. Independence, on the other hand, is cutting those strings. It's standing tall, rooted in your own values and beliefs, no matter what the world throws your way. An independent man knows that everything he needs to succeed already exists within him. He doesn't seek external validation because he understands that validation is fleeting. It changes with trends, with people's moods, with circumstances beyond his control. But his inner foundation, that's unshakable. Independence allows him to build his life on a rock-solid base of self-trust and self-awareness. Now, this kind of independence doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen by accident. It's forged through challenges, through moments of doubt and discomfort. The man who walks alone or with only a few trusted allies has faced himself in ways most people never dare. He sat with his fears, confronted his insecurities, and emerged stronger on the other side. It's living this way that earns the trust, the respect, and the eventual undiluted certainty that creates the barrier, that creates the trust and the acceptance that leads to relationships and connection. That's what independence really is, the ability to rely on yourself when the world feels uncertain, to navigate life's storms without clinging to someone else's lifeboat. When a man is independent, he becomes incredibly powerful. Why? Because he's not distracted by noise. He's not swayed by opinions or pulled in a dozen different directions trying to keep everyone happy. His time, his focus, and his energy are his own. And when you control those, you control your life. Independence is the ultimate freedom. It's the ability to move through the world on your terms, to make choices that align with your goals and values, not someone else's expectations. This doesn't mean he's closed off or unapproachable. On the contrary, an independent man often has the most authentic relationships because he doesn't need them to fill a void. He chooses to connect because he wants to, not because he has to. That's the difference. Independence creates space for real, meaningful connections because it removes the baggage of dependency and neediness. In the quiet of independence, there's clarity, there's strength, there's the realization that you don't need to be everything to everyone. You only need to be everything to yourself. Independence is not isolation, it's empowerment. It's stepping into your own power and recognizing that you are enough just as you are. In a world obsessed with numbers, followers, likes, connections, acquaintances, there's a profound truth that often gets overlooked. It's not about how many people you know. It's about how deeply you connect with the ones who matter. Quality over quantity is not just a principle. It's a way of life for the truly secure man. He understands that a handful of meaningful relationships far outweigh a sea of superficial ones. Let's break this down. Imagine a room full of people, dozens, maybe hundreds. At first glance, it feels good, right? All that attention, all those conversations. But how many of those interactions truly nourish your soul? How many of those people know your fears, your dreams, your struggles, and your triumphs? How many would be there for you when the chips are down? The truth is, most of those connections are fleeting, shallow, and built on convenience rather than commitment. Hopefully you're right about one of those. Let's hope for the rest of us. And a secure man isn't interested in surface-level interactions. He values depth. He values loyalty. He values the kind of relationships where you can drop the mask, speak your truth, and know you're still accepted. That kind of connection doesn't come from quantity. It comes from quality. It comes from shared experiences, mutual respect, and a level of understanding that goes beyond words. When you focus on quality over quantity, you shift your perspective entirely. You stop worrying about impressing everyone or being liked by the masses. Instead, you invest your time and energy into the few people who truly add value to your life. These are the people who challenge you to grow, who call you out when you're slipping, and who stand by you even when it's inconvenient. That's what makes those connections so powerful. They're not built on convenience, but on commitment. There's also a practical side to this. Think about your time and energy as finite resources. When you spread yourself too thin trying to maintain a large circle of acquaintances, you dilute your impact. Your attention becomes fragmented, your focus scattered. But when you choose quality over quantity, you concentrate your energy on the relationships that matter most. Those relationships become stronger, deeper, and more fulfilling because they're given the time and care they deserve. This approach also brings incredible peace of mind. With fewer, more meaningful connections, you eliminate much of the drama, misunderstandings, and superficiality that come with trying to keep up with too many people. You create a space where authenticity thrives, where you can be yourself without fear of judgment. And in that space, trust grows. Trust is the bedrock of any meaningful relationship, and it can only flourish when the connection is genuine. Focusing on quality also aligns with your personal growth. The people you choose to keep close to you influence your mindset, your habits, and your trajectory in life. When you prioritize quality, you surround yourself with individuals who inspire and elevate you. They hold you accountable, celebrate your victories, and support you through challenges. They're not just in your life to take. They're there to give, to contribute, and to build something meaningful alongside you. When a man chooses quality over quantity, he sends a clear message to the world. He knows his worth and he values his time. He doesn't need the noise of the crowd to feel validated. He doesn't chase approval or try to fit in. Instead, he focuses on what truly matters, building relationships that are real, that are resilient, and that stand the test of time. Self-reliance is the bedrock of a secure and empowered life. It's the ability to stand on your own, make decisions for yourself, and trust that you have what it takes to navigate life's complexities. A man who is self-reliant doesn't just survive. He thrives because he understands that everything he needs, strength, wisdom, resilience, is already within him. He doesn't wait for someone else to save him, guide him, or validate him. He takes full ownership of his life. Let's start with the concept of ownership. When you're self-reliant, you stop blaming external circumstances, other people, or the past for where you are. You recognize that while you can't control everything, you are fully responsible for how you respond to the world. That responsibility is empowering because it means you're in the driver's seat. No one else gets to dictate the direction of your life. You do. Being self-reliant also means trusting yourself. This is where many people falter. They second-guess their instincts, doubt their decisions, and look to others for approval. But a self-reliant man knows that he's capable of figuring things out. He's not afraid to make mistakes because he understands that every misstep is an opportunity to learn and grow. He trusts his ability to adapt, to problem solve, and to keep moving forward no matter what challenges arise. Self-reliance isn't about isolation, it's about strength. It's about knowing that while you may welcome support, you don't need it to function. When you're self-reliant, your well-being doesn't hinge on someone else's presence, approval, or assistance. You're not waiting for a mentor to teach you, a partner to complete you, or a friend to reassure you. You're whole on your own. You're capable of creating the life you want, independent of anyone else. This independence extends to your emotional life as well. Self-reliance is the foundation of emotional mastery. It's understanding that your happiness, peace, and confidence come from within, not from the opinions of others, not from external achievements, but from your relationship with yourself. When you're self-reliant, you're not swayed by the highs and lows of other people's judgments. You're fully in control of your own destiny. So while these are rivalries, you fully understand the importance of your relationships and being able to make decisions which prepare you. You remain centered because you've built your sense of worth on something unshakable, your own belief in yourself. And let's talk about resourcefulness. Self-reliant men are incredibly resourceful. They don't sit around waiting for perfect conditions or the right moment. They work with what they have, where they are. They turn obstacles into opportunities and challenges into stepping stones. This mindset of self-reliance makes them unstoppable because they're not limited by circumstances. They know how to adapt, innovate, and keep pushing forward no matter what life throws their way. Another aspect of self-reliance is the ability to make decisions without needing constant input or reassurance from others. A self-reliant man listens to advice and considers other perspectives, but he doesn't rely on them to act. He's confident enough to weigh his options, trust his judgment, and move forward decisively. This decisiveness doesn't come from arrogance. It comes from self-trust. He knows that even if he makes a wrong turn, he has the ability to correct it. Perhaps the most powerful part of self-reliance is the freedom it brings. When you're self-reliant, you're free from dependence on external forces. You're free from the fear of being alone, free from the need for constant validation, and free from the anxiety of uncertainty. That freedom allows you to live authentically, to take risks, and to pursue your goals with courage and conviction. Self-reliance isn't a skill you're born with. It's a mindset you cultivate. It's built through experience, through challenges that test you, and through moments when you have no choice but to rely on yourself. Every time you overcome adversity, every time you solve a problem on your own, you strengthen that foundation. It's a process of proving to yourself over and over again that you are capable, resilient, and enough. Energy and focus are two of the most valuable resources a man possesses. Unlike money or material possessions, once your energy is spent or your focus is scattered, you can't get that time back. A secure man understands this. He knows that guarding his energy and focus is not just a preference, but a necessity for living a purposeful and productive life. Let's start with energy. Your energy is finite. From the moment you wake up in the morning, every decision you make, every conversation you have, and every task you take on consumes a portion of your energy. Most people don't realize this. They waste energy on things that don't matter. Arguments, distractions, toxic relationships, and mindless activities. But a man who values his time and his mission is intentional about where his energy goes. He doesn't give it away freely to everyone and everything. He treats it like a sacred resource, reserved for the things that truly matter. Guarding your energy means being selective. It means saying no more often than you say yes, and that's not always easy because the world will constantly demand your attention. People will try to pull you into their drama, their plans, their agendas. But here's the thing. Just because someone asks for your time or energy doesn't mean they're entitled to it. A secure man understands this distinction. He doesn't let guilt or obligation dictate his choices. Instead, he prioritizes what aligns with his goals and values. Now let's talk about focus. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Your phone buzzes with notifications, your inbox overflows with emails, and social media screams for your attention. It's a constant battle to stay focused on what truly matters. But focus is where the magic happens. Without it, even the most ambitious plans fall apart. A man who masters his focus is unstoppable because he directs all his mental energy toward his highest priorities. Focus isn't just about concentrating on a task. It's about clarity. It's knowing exactly what you want to achieve and refusing to let anything derail you. It's setting boundaries with people and situations that don't serve your purpose. A man who guards his focus, eliminates distractions, simplifies his life, and creates an environment that supports his goals. He understands that every time he shifts his attention away from his mission, he loses momentum. And momentum is everything when you're working towards something meaningful. Guarding your energy and focus also means protecting your mental and emotional space. Negative people, toxic environments, and unnecessary stress drain you, even if you don't realize it in the moment. A secure man doesn't allow himself to be consumed by these things. He's proactive in removing what doesn't serve him. This might mean cutting ties with certain people, setting firm boundaries, or restructuring his environment to minimize distractions. Whatever it takes to maintain his energy and focus, he does it unapologetically. There's another layer to this. When you guard your energy and focus, you create space for growth. When you're not constantly drained by trivial matters or overwhelmed by distractions, you can pour yourself fully into what matters most. You can invest in your skills, your goals, and your passions. You can show up fully in your relationships, your work, and your personal development. Protecting your energy and focus isn't selfish. It's the ultimate form of self-respect. And here's the thing. Guarding your energy and focus requires discipline. It's easy to get pulled into distractions. It's tempting to say yes to every opportunity, to every invitation, to every shiny object that comes your way. But discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. A man who guards his energy and focus knows that every moment he spends on the wrong thing is a moment he can't get back. If he's not willing to waste his time on anything that doesn't move him closer to his goals. This is also about intention. When you guard your energy and focus, you live with intention instead of reacting to the world around you. You wake up each day with a clear purpose, and every decision you make is aligned with that purpose. You don't let other people's priorities dictate your life. You don't let distractions rob you of your potential. You take control of your time, your energy, and your attention, and you use them to build the life you want. A man who guards his energy and focus knows that these resources are what fuel his success. They're what allow him to create, to grow, to lead, and to live fully. And because he values them so deeply, he protects them fiercely. Resilience and emotional mastery are the twin pillars of a strong, secure man. Life will test you. There's no avoiding that. Challenges, setbacks, and unexpected changes are inevitable. But how you respond to those moments defines who you are. Resilience is your ability to bounce back, and emotional mastery is your ability to remain composed and effective in the face of adversity. Together, they make you unstoppable. Let's start with resilience. Resilience is not just about surviving difficulties. It's about using them as fuel for growth. When life knocks you down, resilience is what helps you get back up, not just to where you were, but stronger, more prepared than before. It's a mindset, a belief that no matter how hard things get, you have the strength and resourcefulness to overcome them. A resilient man doesn't crumble under pressure. He adapts, learns, and keeps moving forward. Think about the times in your life when you faced a challenge that seemed insurmountable. Maybe it was a failure, a heartbreak, or a loss. In those moments, you had a choice to let the situation define you or to define yourself in the face of it. Resilience is built in those choices. It's built when you choose to keep going, even when every part of you wants to give up. It's built when you see obstacles not as barriers, but as stepping stones to something greater. Now, resilience alone isn't enough. To truly thrive, you need emotional mastery. Emotional mastery is the ability to understand, regulate, and channel your emotions effectively. It's not about suppressing your feelings or pretending they don't exist. On the contrary, it's about acknowledging them, understanding where they come from, and deciding how to respond to them in a way that aligns with your values and goals. Emotions are powerful. They can drive you to achieve incredible things, but they can also derail you if you let them take control. A man with emotional mastery doesn't let anger, fear, or frustration dictate his actions. He doesn't react impulsively or make decisions based on fleeting feelings. Instead, he pauses, reflects, and chooses his response intentionally. This level of self-betrayal is what separates the reactive from the proactive, the weak from the strong. Emotional mastery also means understanding that no one else is responsible for your emotions. Blaming others for how you feel gives away your power. A secure man takes ownership of his emotional state. He recognizes that while he can't always control what happens to him, he can control how he interprets and responds to it. This ownership is empowering because it puts him in the driver's seat of his life. Resilience and emotional mastery work hand in hand. Resilience helps you recover from setbacks, while emotional mastery ensures that those setbacks don't control you. Together, they create a foundation of unshakable strength. When you're resilient and emotionally grounded, you become someone who can weather any storm. You're no longer at the mercy of external circumstances or internal turmoil. You become a leader, not just of others, but of yourself. Building resilience and emotional mastery requires practice and intentionality. It starts with self-awareness. You need to understand your triggers, your patterns, and your emotional landscape. What throws you off balance? What situations tend to push your buttons? When you identify these, you can start to develop strategies to respond more effectively. One of the keys to resilience is perspective. Challenges feel overwhelming when you're too close to them. But when you step back and see the bigger picture, they lose their power. A secure man practices reframing, looking at difficulties as opportunities to grow rather than as insurmountable problems. He asks himself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me better? This shift in mindset turns every setback into a setup for a comeback. Emotional mastery, on the other hand, requires patience and discipline. It's about learning to pause before you react, to breathe through intense emotions, and to choose your responses consciously. It's about recognizing that your feelings are temporary and that you have the power to shape your experience of them. Emotional mastery is not about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally intelligent, knowing when to let your emotions guide you and when to guide them. Together, resilience and emotional mastery give you the confidence to face life head on. You don't fear challenges because you know you can handle them. You don't fear failure because you see it as a stepping stone to success. And you don't fear your emotions because you've learned to work with them, not against them. This combination makes you adaptable, resourceful, and, most importantly, free.